There are thousands of DOS games. Most of them are terrible. I play one selected at random with a 20-minute time limit and record it live. This is the result. Well, I successfully overclocked my graphics card for this one. This is Pac-Man. And it's not an official version of Pac-Man. It is a IBM clone. And you'll see at the top it says IBM. That's because the International Business Machines, I've eventually said that right, was the PC architecture of the time, and every other machine was simply an IBM compatible. So this was written in BASIC by a man called Bob Bison, and it is one of those few games that I'll play on here which is actually older than I am. So, 1982's Pac-Man. Let's give it a go. So, what you see here is ASCII text. This is not actual, graphics as such, but text representing graphics. And it also looks absolutely nothing like Pac-Man. You guide your little Pac-Man through the maze. You pick up all the dots, and you avoid the ghosts. But in this case, they look more like weird snake-like creatures. And they're not doing a very good job of chasing me either. And the controls are very unresponsive. It's just arrow keys. There's no other controls. And gradually, as the game progresses, more and more of these evil ghosts that are actually snakes will come out, and eventually they'll corner me and mess me up, which you'll see now. There you go. Your lives are in the bottom left-hand corner, your score is in the top right, and that's it. That's Pac-Man. The sound is limited to PC speaker, and each maze differs. Oh, I'm not doing well here. Look at this guy chasing me. He was faster than I was. That's concerning. Now, do I have enough time to just sneak? See, that's the problem. I try to hit up there, and the input lag is just slightly... There we go. I managed to complete a level. I'm happy about that. Oh, yes, there's input lag with the controls, so I have to be quite forceful with my input on the keys. So you'll probably hear me hammering them, which is not good for my fingers, which are in a bad state as it is. So, I mean, there's really not much more to say about this. Everyone knows, or everyone should know, what Pac-Man is. It's a classic arcade game, and for those who have actually played it, yeah, this looks nothing like Pac-Man. I mean, it plays sort of like Pac-Man, as good as a basic clone of Pac-Man would play. But I mean, you can't really compare this to the standards of modern games or even arcade games of the time, because the performance on a PC was just not comparable to an arcade cabinet. Different architectures, different processors, and the graphics were just completely different. So instead of trying to replicate that and clone it entirely, what Bob here has done is he's eschewed the graphics altogether, replaced them with the ASCII text, and you know what? It's okay. I'm enjoying myself. I've switched hand, which is nice. So often nowadays games require you to use both hands. So if one hand is getting tired, you just switch to the other. That's nice. I like one-handed gaming. There are people out there with disabilities and stuff, and it's a done thing nowadays, you know, where games are optimized and improved for people with just one hand. So if you're a one-handed person and you want to play an ASCII clone of Pac-Man from the 80s, then this is right up your street. Seriously though, it's a curiosity of a bygone era, you know. Also, I think picking up those little explosion things temporarily makes you quicker. I might be wrong about that. Oh no, wait. Of course, it's like the fruit. It makes the ghosts / snakes edible. So they'll flash for a minute. I like that little flashing effect. He did well with that. Let's just pick up the last of these. And then, there we go. Yeah, he did okay with that. You can be strategic with this. You know, you could sort of linger around that kind of explosive-y bit there, which in the original Pac-Man obviously was fruit. Delicious, delicious fruit. Or you can, you know, just eat it whenever. Let's see. Oh, look, he's running from me now. Aye, you've every right to be afraid. For a few seconds. Ah, you see, they're after me. Now, if I do that, see the way they retreat? It's strategic. You don't necessarily have to eat them and bring them back to their jail, which is what happens when you do. But it gets them off your back for a little bit, so that you don't get horribly cornered. Let's just try and get as many of this as we can. I'm on my last life anyway, so... Oh my goodness, see the way I can't turn into that corner very well? You could probably hear me mashing those keys, being like, why won't you change direction? And unfortunately for Bob, that is one of the most important things about the Pac-Man game, the ability to quickly change direction in a seamless fashion, so that you don't get horribly caught out like that. Right, apparently this is my last life. And I've completed that. So I'm still going, I'm still doing okay. And the maze changes slightly each time, from what I've seen anyway. Yeah, it looks like this is a bit of a wraparound one. Yeah, there's really not much more to say about it. I could show you... Yep, there we go, eating a snake. I hope to get that in. I really should stop calling them snakes. They're lovely people, I assume, despite being ghosts. They're just mortally challenged, you know? It's not their fault that they died. Well, maybe it was. Come here, let me eat you. Yes! And they're snakes again. And that's what you gotta worry about. The thing with the original Pac-Man, which I can't really tell here, is that each of the AIs, each of the little ghosts, had a different personality, and how they played was different. I don't know if that's the case here. I think these are just programmed to follow you around and try and cut you off at the pass. See him trying desperately to... Yeah, can't catch me, I'm the Pac-Man man. Well, you can catch me, as evidenced by what's about to happen. Oh, that cost me. You see the way I tried to turn into that, and it did not work. Bob was just like, nope, that's not happening, son. I don't think I'm going to die in this, you know. I mean, I will eventually. I'm only human. Eventually, I'll lose my lives. But there's really not much more to say, and you don't need to listen to me talk for 20 whole minutes about an ASCII-based Pac-Man clone from the 80s. You know, you've seen enough at this point, I would sincerely hope. So, yeah, that's Pac-Man for DOS in the 80s. Not exactly inspiring, but the gameplay itself is so simple that it's timeless.